Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm making a rub or a seasoning mix to go on some steaks that I took out of the freezer for dinner. First we start with a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch, and a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika and a half a teaspoon of chili powder. The recipe calls for smoked paprika, and I didn't have that, so I used regular paprika for that. I still have more ingredients to go, but this recipe will be enough rub or spice mixture, seasoning mix, for 2 to 4 steaks. And they were just medium-sized sirloin steaks that I used. Seasoning them well on both sides. Now I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And I was too lazy to take the shaker part off of this and scoop it with the measuring spoon. A 1/4 teaspoon of garlic salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I just ended up using a half of a teaspoon of garlic powder. You could add just a little bit of salt to that if you don't have garlic salt. I thought it was going to be too salty if I added extra salt for some reason, but it would have been fine. So next time I do it, I am either going to add the garlic salt or add a little bit of extra salt to the doubled garlic powder and 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. Today was one of those days where it got to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm saying to myself, oh man, I've got to make dinner tonight. And I didn't have any meat thawed, so I went to the freezer and got these steaks out of the freezer. But they were rock solid, frozen rock solid. So I put them in the microwave and defrosted them for about 10 minutes, putting them in for 3 minutes each time at 30% power. Anyway, they were still frozen when I took them out of the microwave, so I browned them in a skillet with a little bit of olive oil, and when I got a little bit of sear on them, I pulled them out, put them on some foil on a baking sheet, added the rub mixture to both sides, and then put them into a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 15 minutes. I'm opening a can of green beans to go with dinner. We have leftover mashed potatoes and gravy that I will warm up in the microwave. And these are the steaks after 15 minutes in the oven. I'm taking the internal temperature and decide to put them back in for 6 minutes. You may want to start out by just putting them in at 10 minutes and maybe even less than that if your meat is completely thawed. So I was able to get dinner ready in about 30 minutes. And here I am plating up our plates for our dinner with our Steakhouse Copycat sirloin steaks, mashed potatoes and gravy, and green beans. And it was a delicious dinner. I really like this seasoning on this, and you can see that the steak is cooked the way I like it, a medium to medium well. The recipe said to rub the rub onto the steaks or your cut of meat and leave it in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 hours before cooking or grilling. But I didn't have that kind of time, and just sprinkling it over both sides I thought worked out really well. Thank you so much for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button and hit the like button and leave a comment if you'd like. Goodbye.